Hey everybody, good morning. Morning. Um, Monster sitting over here, sitting down off the table there. All right. Um, how's everybody going? How's everybody doing? Everybody have a happy new year. Goose coming in first. Craig, Cliff, Mary, Michael, Mark, Rungamer, glad to see you. Back at work. Donald, Patrick, Arturo, Nikki, Don, W. Wong. Don't recognize your name, but welcome. Tara, Laura, Randy, David. Welcome everybody. If you want to chat with me, like all these fine folks that are saying, hey, good morning, button's right over here. Be a subscriber. Click the subscribe button. A few seconds later, you can chat on the live stream just like everybody else. And if you're tuning in later when I'm no longer live, if the live stream is not a live stream, then we will, you'll have to leave a comment. And then I'll do my best to get back to you. So, anyway, Tim, Valerie, Jan, Ben, Philip, Muku, PD, Darren, Maurizio, Alan, and Alan. Two different Allens. Welcome. John Kennedy, Prayful, Anderson, Tim, Jason, Brian, JB. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, Purple Monster. Grape. Love it. Actually, I had to start the year yesterday, I had the Rosa, the pink grapefruit kind. That was pretty tasty. I was trying to remember which one it was. Anyway, welcome everybody. Chris, JB, Gary, Mary, Gary and Mary. Welcome everybody. First trading day, right? What are we gonna get into? That's the big question. Looks like Bitcoin started ripping last night, and we have the index is kind of pulling back a little bit. Well, can't say anything surprising so far. Can't say. So, let's get into it, shall we? Yeah. Are we gonna have some trouble? Are we gonna get that pullback? What's gonna happen? I don't know. But we're about to find out. We're about to find out. Tomorrow, FOMC minutes coming out. That may make it or break it. So be careful with that one. Hey, RMD, don't recognize your name, but welcome to the show. And all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. Imagine that. I may never get it right again. I'll be dang. I mean, just because you did something in the market and it worked and it worked and it worked and then it didn't work. I mean, it happens. All right. So just because I got it right in the past, just because you got it right in the past, doesn't mean we'll get it right in the future. I mean, but these patterns I follow, they tend to work. So yeah, I mean, I actually got to sleep in. So I slept in yesterday for the first time in weeks. So yeah, I do sound a lot better. And I'm taking these got this, let's see, with the Walgreens, got these little babies, and getting the crap out of my nasal passage. So hopefully I'll be all better by the in-person event next week. Wow, that's so crazy. It's coming up that fast. So for those of you coming next week, we're gonna have a good time. And I'm going to try to do this live stream with an in-person audience next week. That ought to be interesting on Thursday and Friday. So we'll see what happens. So this presentation, intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. Remember, no stocks, no options, no bonds, no futures, no forex, no cryptos. Don't buy them, don't sell them, don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them. You may lose money. And if you desire personal financial advice, you need to hire and consult a financial advisor. Yeah, I do sound I like it. Almost, I could taste the grape. Can't say that I could taste the grapefruit yesterday in the Rosa, but I could taste the grape flavor today. Almost back to, almost cleared out. So I'm glad to have everybody. And let's check out the calendar. Like I said, we have the FOMC minutes coming up tomorrow. Hopefully everybody had a happy new year, safe and sound. So yeah, tomorrow, getting started right here. We got Jolts Jobs openings, 10 a.m. Nothing really before the market except, Barkin, Fed member Barkin speaking. I don't know. Maybe he's got something to say. Maybe he's just speaking. It's an orange event. Not really on my radar much, but these may move the market, may not move the market. We may just see a little volatility. This one down here, did they actually talk about rate cuts or did they not? We'll see what the actual Fed minutes say. Maybe they didn't actually talk about rate cuts and it was all just bull crap. So this whole hype the last couple weeks was all bull crap. We'll see. Jerome Powell came out and he's like, oh, we were talking about cuts and this, that, and the other. And then, it wasn't like 2 days later, a bunch of the members are out like, we didn't talk about any cuts. So who's telling the truth? I don't know. Bitcoin is totally different asset, totally different everything from the rest of the market. So it does have the catalyst coming up for the Bitcoin spot ETF that could drive it crazy high. We could see crazy action there and completely irrational. And if the volatility there is not something you want to play with, stay out of it. Period. All right. Be careful. That ETF approval could come this week. More likely, it's going to be the 9th or the 10th of next week because ARK's final deadline for approval or denial, like that's just straight up approval or denial, is the 10th. We'll see what happens. All right. Then Thursday, not a whole lot happening. Get some unemployment numbers, and then Friday we get all the jobs reports and employment rate and all that good stuff we get at the beginning of every month. So that's the first week. We'll see what happens. And since it's an abbreviated week, we were closed yesterday, so holiday weeks, I mean, it's hard to say what's going to happen. It is a short week. We may see a pullback. The Santa rally officially ends tomorrow. The typical Santa rally starts the trading day after Christmas, rolls right through the second trading day of the new year, which will be tomorrow. Do we continue the rally or was it a fizzle this year? And Beth says, how high do you think Bitcoin will go without a significant pullback? Some would say that we already had a significant pullback. We'll see how big it goes. But we definitely are popping this morning on Bitcoin. And I mean, was this a significant pullback? And that was it wasn't just a tiny pullback. 10%. That was a fair sized pullback. Certainly bigger than anything we got in the S&P. Now we're ramping up. Where do we top though? And I can foresee once the ETF comes out, whichever ones, I think 2 of them at least got their S1s in. I didn't see, out of the 7 or so that were close, I only saw 2 S1s fly through Twitter over the weekend. That doesn't mean, I wasn't sitting there like scouring looking for all of them, but could only be 2 get approved. Could, BlackRock named JP Morgan as their approved participant, along with another amusing approved participant, but it's where they're known for high frequency trading Bitcoin. So it's like, how great is that? I don't know. Actually, I could pull it up and tell you who it is here. 1 second. Give me a second. I'll pull it up. But how high does Bitcoin go? I don't know. We're at significant resistance, 49. We could make, as I speculated, we could make a new all-time high. Pop right up in here. That'd be wild and crazy, but we could do it. And then if we do that, we're coming right back down. So be careful. Be careful. Yeah, so Jane Street Capital was the other named participant right there. So BlackRock also named Jane Street Capital, known as the fund where Sam Bankman-Fried learned all he needed to know about high-frequency trading, the Bitcoin market. So they're known for high-frequency trading in Bitcoin. and we'll see. But so far, BlackRock and Invesco were the two that named all their participants like the SEC wanted. I don't know. We'll see who gets approved. See what happens. That's all coming up in the next couple days. Look at the calendar. Whoop, where'd my mouse go? There it is. We have the 10th. Right there's the deadline for ARK. So we've got this week and a couple days next week. And for those coming to the in-person event, we can talk about it at the dinner, the welcome dinner on Wednesday. So crazy, all these things happening so dang fast. Already burning into the new year. All right. Whew. So Bitcoin, the big highlight this morning. All the positive things seem to be Bitcoin related. All the negative things are for pretty much the rest of the market. So we'll talk about it. And I'm not sure that loaded the list. Let's see. Maybe I didn't hit the button. Yeah, there we go. We got the list. All right. So S&P needs a pullback. Newsflash, needs a pullback. And so far, futures getting a little bit of pullback. We were definitely overcooked on the upside. Can Bitcoin go higher while the market pulls back? Yeah, very well could. Are some of the stocks like MSTR, Coin, Mara, Beto, WG Mine, Riot, Hut, could those be affected by the market pulling back? Yeah, they very well could. So just remember and keep in mind what the ticker is. Like there was some debate in Discord over the weekend. Kind of addressed it a little bit. That what's going on with Mara? I thought like it's gonna rock on this ETF approval thing. Well, guess what? They don't have any. They have no skin in the game for an ETF approval. They hold Bitcoin and they mine Bitcoin. All right, that's what they do. So if the price of Bitcoin goes up, like it is today, breaking out, well, guess what happens? Things and tickers and companies and stuff that hold a lot of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, MSTR, BITO is an ETF about Bitcoin, Riot, Hut, CLSK, MSTR. MSTR has 190,000 Bitcoins, $8 billion worth. And when it goes up 10%, well, guess what happens? See Bitcoin's up 10%. Guess what happens? When you hold $8 billion worth of Bitcoin, the value of it goes up 10%. That's $800 million. Excuse me, get my millions and billions right. What does that make it do? It makes it pop. There's the market open. All right. So just keep in mind what you're holding and what they're doing. All right. They are not in any way all created equal. Like Mara is not the same as Riot or Hut. So don't get confused in your plays. All right. Know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, ask somebody. All right. That's why we have Discord to talk about some of these things. But these miners, these are miners, crypto miners. They have nothing to do with ETF approvals. Now, if the price of Bitcoin rocks higher, they're probably going higher. All right. So keep it all straight. Keep it all straight. Anyway, yeah, important to do your own research. And some of the ETFs, like, you're like, well, what happened on, we had NVDL last week, took a 10% drop. Why'd that do that? Right? NVIDIA didn't take a giant drop. This is 1.5x leverage. What happened there? You should go look at the rebalance criteria. And it looks like they paid a big dividend right there. Paid out $10 in dividend. So what happened? They dropped $10. All right. So know what you're trading, know what's going on. They were doing their end of the year rebalance stuff and they put out a $10 dividend. So if you're holding that one, if you're holding the options, you just got whacked. All right. Always be careful. Options on leverage. Always be careful. I can't say that enough. Be careful. All right. So we're seeing pullback in ES. We got a long way to go to the roadmap line if we're going to do that. And let's talk about. And we did make a higher high in ES. We did not make a higher high in the cash index. Creates a little bit of what's going on. Not sure, but look right here. If we did the pullback, look where the classic 50 to 618 retrace comes in right at the roadmap line. How big a pullback is that? We're talking about like 10%, 9%. You don't think you can do it? Guess what? This baby can do that. All right. We can do it in a few days. We could do it in one day. That'd be wicked, but we could do it in one day. So be careful out there, all right? We're already down 35 points coming into the new year. NASDAQ showing a little red also. It's got a good long way to come back too. Also, if we just look at the high to low, low to high, low to high. Look at that. Right back to the roadmap line. Roadmap line climb just a little bit more. We may come right in there. We could go as deep as the 786. All right. Be careful. Doesn't have to be a little shallow pullback. We could get a deep pullback. All right, we're talking about levels down at 4,400 on S&P. Talking about levels down at 15,300 on NASDAQ. Maybe like, JT, what's that on QQQ? You know, SPY. Well, for ES, that's 440 on SPY. Move the decimal over one. QQQ, you got to divide, or NASDAQ, you got to divide by 41. Get those prices. So we're talking about NQ divided by 41. Pull that up. Here's your QQQ. We draw the level on there. We're talking about something down around 373.50. Not exactly, but ballpark. All right. Maybe like, how the devil did you know it's 41? Well, just one of those things I know. So, and when you look at it on here, the low to high, right there, right around that 371, is a little bit lower. So it's close. 373, pretty close to 371. 2 points off. Russell looks like she needs another pullback too. This one could be deeper. Pushing on down, could come down right around this 1800. You wonder what's the ETF? IWM, small caps, could be on a pullback down to this area. Oil, so far just messing around, back tested the breakout, a little mini trend line. If we push higher, break higher than this high, probably going up to at least 90, if not 100 on oil. If we break down below that trend line, we're going to extend down 65, 60, somewhere in that zone, maybe even on down in the 50 area. So watch your support, watch your resistance. Resistance up here at 76, support down here at 71. We break out of that range. It sets the odds that we're either going higher up to this 90 to 100 area, or we'll probably test the roadmap line there. That's resistance too. So a couple layers of resistance above us, support down here. We get below that little zone where we consolidated, then down to the 65, 60, and then probably bounce again, and then could potentially go on down. So oil needs to thread the needle to go higher at this point. GC just churning, and looks kind of like the move oil's doing, just up near the upper end instead of the lower, down at the lower end. This one could break out and go. Definitely could. All right, Bitcoin. How high can she go? She can go to a new all-time high. All right, we do have significant resistance in the zone where we are. I mean, look right there. We're right at the top of the bubble. This big bubble that I had on here for months. We're just poking up, and I drew a big box that goes up to 47. You know, we could push on up to 49, where that other fib line is. That's the 618. Could we push on through? Sure. We get on through 49, though. It's tipping the odds that we're going to push on higher. And 84, 85,000 becomes kind of like the 70% likely. All the same stuff. Could we do it fast? We could. And, you know, look at that. The 1618, 104,000. Could we do all that before the halving event even gets going? It's possible. Not necessarily very likely, but, you know, we could see a squeeze. We could see some irrational moves before the main event comes. The main event is the halving event. That's the big 4-year cycle. That's coming up in April. That's the countdown, 108 days. All right. Keep focused on what your event is. ETF approval, that's likely to be like a short-term event, like super hyped, and then the funnel fade. All right. It's not likely to be a continued catalyst. Now, halving event, that's a permanent change in the rate of payout for mining. We're going from 6.25 to 3.125 Bitcoins per block minted. All right, right now, every one of these blocks, just minted a new block. Every one of these blocks that gets minted, that's 6.25 Bitcoins that get rewarded to a miner. And then once the halving happens, it'll only be 3.125. And that'll last for about 4 years. And then we'll cut it down to, it's like 1.8125 or something like that, 8625. As we finish mining out the last million Bitcoins, 1.5 million Bitcoins. Now you'd be like, what happens when the end of, you know, lots of people ask me, what happens at the end of the mining? That's gonna be like 150 years from now. So we should be so lucky as to be around and see it. All right. Keep it in mind. Mining is going to be around for a while. Naysayers are like, oh, you know, this ETF stuff's going to be the end of transactions in mining. Yeah, unlikely. Unlikely. Ethereum on a different path, but flying in parallel with Bitcoin as we push a little higher. Not really making that higher high, though. So this gives me a little caution. We're definitely bouncing off the resistance. This could lead to a bigger, outsized drop in Ethereum. Ethereum could go back to the roadmap line. It could do a larger retrace down to 400. Like, wait, 400? Yeah, watch out. We could see a larger retrace on Ethereum. That'd kind of suck, but it's also present in the chart. Dollar getting a little strength this morning. Back up to test the trend line again. We reject it and push down. It's probably going lower. If we can get above the trend line, we'll probably come up and retest the roadmap line up in this zone. So there you go. There's your resistance zones right there, and then right up there. Now, what's actually happening and crapping? We've got MSTR, and as I speculated, we may go retest that zone on the hype coming up on the ETF. That was an intermediate high right here where we topped twice in that zone. This was the ultimate crazy hype high way up here on MSTR. We've got a ways to go from the 880 tops right here up to that 1300 top way up there. Hey, good morning, Mark. So, LBPH, pharmaceutical, craziness, nothing to do there. I don't trade pharmaceuticals. Like, that's just, I don't, biotech, pharma, just don't do it because of crazy stuff like that. And what is this likely to do? one way or another, probably likely to come back down here. Unless it's just a buyout and whatever, it's likely to come back and overlap this junk where it consolidated. Unfortunately, that's the way these, it's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess you might say. BitX, look at that 2x strategy. What did I say? What did I say last week or week before last? Whatever it was. I was like, you wanna play a crazy pop in Bitcoin? Buy some BitX. Look at that baby go. The 2x leverage. Be careful. Leverage is leverage. Whew, crazy. Let's check on this one. Yeah, this one not quite ramping up as much. I'd like to see that one break out. I could not close my position on Friday, but it pulled back. Now it's back up a little bit. Get a red candle though. I may have to hold that one through pullback before I can get out. We'll see on that one. Coin was popping. Now she's dropping. She's up at these extensions here and needs a pullback. How deep a pullback might we go? We could come back to the roadmap line back in this 114 area. If we do that, I am probably going to, if we pull back in that zone, hold support, I'm probably going to be looking at load up on another position. If we just push on out to some targets, well, it's okay. I made a bunch of money before on the move up from 60 to where we were, when I liquidated 150, something like that. I missed that last little pop, but so what? Mara was rocking last week. That hit the head and shoulders target. I'm warned we'd probably see a pullback. We could go as deep as 20. We can still go as deep as 20. This could be the first move. We could retrace, pop, pop, pop. Third move could take us down here. Be careful. I did sell some $20 puts for this Friday. Not so sure we're going below 20, but we may, and I may have to buy some shares. We'll see. VYGR, another biotech pharma. Be careful. This stuff just does crazy stuff. Doesn't always follow the patterns. BITO is the Bitcoin ETF at this point. This is based on the futures, not on a spot. And pushing to all-time high. Look at that. Beautiful. Right up at 22. Beautiful. Beautiful. That one has resistance right up in this zone, right around 26 to 28. And if we get popping to all-time highs, this one could really go higher. 54, 66. How much in favor is it going to be after the spot ETF approval? I don't know. The liquidity may go down on BITO as we see the cash spot ETFs increase in favor. I'll keep an eye on it. All right. At this point, I do have some long-term positions from way down here at $10. And I think they're going to pay out. WGMI. Whew. There's Valkyrie Bitcoin Miners ETF. Like I said, ETFs all over the place. So this one did hit an extension. Does need some pullback. Look, right up to the 1272. May come back to 15. May come all the way back to the roadmap line at 12. That looks pretty sweet. USO was moving on oil moving, but that's kind of a downtrend at this point. Watch, you can watch the oil chart and know where USO is going. You can know where UCO is going. They both kind of look the same. This is ultra, this is leveraged, and it never triggered off my conservative entry. So that one just being a laggard. Never kicked off the entry. CONL. Look at that baby go. Probably pull back a little bit before it rocks higher again. That's you wanna take 1.5x leverage on coin. Remember, these are daily ETFs. Like Rongamer says, you should read the prospectus on how they manage these things. All right. Don't get caught up on like an MVDL surprise dividend because you're trading options on leverage. It's like adding leverage on leverage, and you know, even though options aren't designed as leverage instruments, let's be honest, that's what it, effectively that's what it gives us a lot of times is leverage, protection. If you're just buying calls on something that's already leveraged, you're leveraging leverage. And a lot of times calls get you about 10x leverage. So we're talking about 1.5x times 10x. You're playing with fire there. All right, 15x leverage, playing the options on something that's 1.5x leverage. If you go with an ultra, like something that's ultra leverage, like SQQQ maybe. This is like a 3x leverage. So you go 3x leverage, you buy options on that, you're like 30x leverage right there. So remember, it cuts both ways. So yeah, all these things cut both ways. TMV. Getting a little pop, but that's kind of a downtrend. We may come up and retest the roadmap line there. Be careful playing with that leverage. SDIG. Look at that one. Popped up through. This is classic market roadmap reversal. If that one will hold in the zone, break back, push back green a little bit, we could see another extension. How high could she go? Could go up to 12, maybe 14. ASML. Surprise, pullback, rejected, breaking out. That one could come back to the 694 area or pushes higher again. It's like 70% likely that we're going to go up to 829 though. And I'm probably getting off at 820. I hold like one share just to ride. I bought it back on the breakout back here. AVGO. That one looks like it wants to come back to the roadmap line. Broadcom. CORT is down here. BTBT didn't make the list this morning. I can pull it up, but this is not a request show. That's tonight at 5 p.m. So if you want requests, come back, mark your calendar, put an alert in your phone, whatever it is, 5 p.m. I will take requests for at least 30 minutes, if not longer. So CORT. That looks like it's dropping. Pharmaceutical. Like what I say, be careful. They can just do crazy stuff. Let's see if that actually dropped to a support level. Yep, right down to it. That could be the end of the correction, but doesn't have to be. And it's just been kind of chopping sideways for a long time. So overlappy, nasty, gnarly, not really much I could predict on that. SOXX, it was hitting targets. Could possibly push on up to 599 area, but back to the roadmap line. And I'm pretty sure AMD was on here somewhere. Yeah, AMD topped out at that 150 target I've been talking about. Watch out for that one to pull back. FNGU came up just shy of the target at 255. Getting a pullback. That one may pull all the way back down to the support. Back down around 188. That's a 3x leverage. And I don't think they have options on that one. So be careful. MDB coming back to the roadmap line. Couldn't break out. That usually results in a retrace to the roadmap line. SMCI. Yeah, I've been warning that one needed a deeper flush. It may go back down to this 200 area. Maybe even lower. Like a lower low than any of these lows that we've had since we topped out back here in July. Apple. Somebody bought puts on Apple last week. Looks like that was a smart decision. Probably coming back to the roadmap line. Somebody was me. Meta. Probably coming back to the roadmap line. That hit the 1618. Bulls. Patrick bought some puts on Apple too. Oh, congratulations, my man. Looks like we made a smart decision. Bulls looks like it's going to come back to the roadmap line. There's a 3x leverage innovation. Whew. That one looks like it's coming back. YY. That's looking kind of bearish. That may go deeper. Oh, that's overlappy. That's hard. Ah, gosh, man. How low does she go? Not sure at this point. If we hold that 31 area, could turn bullish, but at this point, that is a gnarly looking chart. Yeah, 31, 32. If we don't hold that, though, we could go on down to like 19. LABU, another more leverage. I was warning about this one. We're still in the downtrend, still below the downtrend line. And is that a reverse split in there? Reverse splits are almost never bullish, so watch out. That one can definitely bleed on down. DPST is the next one on the list. And that's a 3x bull for... Now, we do see money flow into financials ahead of earnings. What's going to happen? We got financial earnings. Not this week, but they'll probably pick up next week. I believe it is. Let's see, JPM. Let's just run through a couple of these real quick. We got earnings. Yeah, the 12th. That's next week, right? Yeah, next week. So we've got financials coming up next week. So BAC. So we'll probably see a little bit of money flow into these ahead of that earnings. And there's the 12th. WFC. Oop, WFC, not DC. Wherever the D came from. WFC. Looks like that one, the 12th. Well, lots of them coming on the 12th next week. COF. 25th on that one. Let's see. So we'll have some money flowing into financials ahead of, and looks like we've been flowing money into financials. So money usually stops flowing into financials right as they report earnings, then flows into tech till tech reports earnings, and then we see money disperse through the markets. So even though Tesla reporting that they hit their car target, exceeded it, looks like we may get the bigger pullback. So far, that's like a channel right there. And we may see this breakdown below the bottom of the channel. We get below that channel line, watch out. Deeper retrace. Snow. Looks like that one's going on a deeper retrace. Came up just shy of the target. Couldn't break out of the resistance box. Probably find support down around 180. DEO. That one's probably going to extend down to 136 area. CRWD. Anybody see Kimberly on the stream? I didn't see her this morning. Nope, don't see her on the chat. Oh well. Guess she slept in this morning. CRWD. Got a long way to go to the roadmap line. Be careful. PANW. Alto Networks. Got a long way to go to the roadmap line. A lot of these. As I was going through for the market roadmap watch list, like if you want the watch list for the week, the link is in the description. If you're not a market roadmap subscriber, you get the cool orange line, easy button on the chart. If you want an actual watch list to go with that and you want to come chat with us in Discord, the link is in the description. You just hit the more button, the little text that's underneath down here. Click the more button. There's a link. It's like $5. I give you a list. When I was going through building that list this weekend, there were a lot of charts that were either really extended to the upside, just being laggards, and not very many that were doing the roadmap pattern, interestingly enough. So, like this one pushing down, looks like we're going to go even lower. So, the market definitely, I'd say, it was probably like 70% or maybe 80% of charts were just like maxed out and needed a pullback of some sort. A pullback to the roadmap line would be a beautiful place to go. So that's like what we're seeing here. Like a lot of these been rocking higher, pushing up off that low that we had in October. They could use a retrace, a recharge, free up some cash, flush out the weak holders. So PNM just looks pretty rough and can keep going. AMD, that topped out right at the 150. I said 150 for weeks. Hopefully you closed it out at 150, not hoping for extra. I mean, it could have gotten extra, but wasn't very likely. 150 was probably the target. That was probably it. And this one can retrace back to 80. Just 80 to 90 area, all the way back down here. Back around the vicinity where we bottomed right there in October. That was like the big final push. You know, it looks like we had an Elliott wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty classic. And now we may be due for a larger retrace. All right. PDD. Yeah, that one just keeps hanging up here. It's either going to go sideways till we meet the roadmap line, or we're going to get a pullback. We did lots of pullbacks back here. We haven't done one. Haven't done a really big one for a while. So BA probably do a pullback after that monster run. I mean, that was a monster rip higher right up to the target. May get an outsized pullback back down this 160, 170 area, back down here. AVXL, another life science biotech, and it's under 10 bucks. So it's like two whammies right there, double whammy. So stuff under 10 bucks, stuff from China, biotech, pharma, med tech stuff, leverage stuff. Those are the things that don't follow, you know, low price stuff. Those are things that don't follow the pattern. So when you combine two, be extra careful. So that's biotech, pharma, med tech, and leverage. So be careful. It's like a double whammy right there. Get the whammy from biotech, and then you get the whammy from leverage. I mean, from low priced. I don't have a button for low priced. AMAT. Probably going to retrace the roadmap line. The head and shoulders would play out all the way up here. And looks like we're slowly chugging the way up there, but we may retrace and keep going. That could be all the way out in July before we get up in that zone where we top out on the head and shoulders. So, all right. Somebody said BTBT. I'll hit that real quick. Yeah, probably going to come back to the roadmap line. Probably at least going to do a 618 retrace. Yeah, we're back down to $3, $3.24. So, all right. If you got more requests, bring them tonight, 5 p.m. I'll be live again on YouTube doing at least 30 minutes requests. So come hang out with me. Make a reminder. And remember, if I said anything that you like, that was helpful, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, give me a, interact with the video. I appreciate it. All 133 of you on here today. We'll be back tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern, for more awesome chart analysis. Like I said, I'll do at least 30 minutes of your requests, and we'll talk about what happened today. We'll talk about what the plan is. Keep it on going. So expectation for today is this pullback, probably. Do we get it deeper? Do we break supports and flush on down? That's the big question at this point. I kind of expect a flush. Does it happen today? I don't know. Do we make the higher high on the cash index on the S&P 500 before we actually get the big flush? I don't know. Yeah, we did have a big flush, kind of a warning shot there before Christmas. We struggled, couldn't really get that higher high on S&P. Be careful, all right? We may flush her on down. I mean, ES already down 41. We need a big pullback, like 5, 10, 15%. All right? We need it. That move up from October was pretty epic. So 5% take us back down to like 4,500. 10%, 8% takes us back to the roadmap line. 10% Takes us on back to about 4,300. Could we get 15%? Yeah, we could. That'd be a lower low than October. Be careful. That'd be back to like, the 4,000 area. That'd be rough, right? 700 point pullback. What goes up can come right back down. Be careful. All right. I'll see y'all tonight. After we have our first full day of trading, I'll talk about it. So bye for now. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe out there. The account you save, maybe your own. I'll be in Discord.